From the feared Gazel Heshmei Prison with its severe overcrowding and dire conditions, to a prison originally designed as a pig farm, welcome to the top 8 most dangerous and terrifying prisons in Iran, where prisoners disappear into oblivion, never to be seen again. If you enjoy these longer form videos, then please remember to smash the like button to help this video rise in the YouTube algorithm. We have many more videos just like this one scheduled for the rest of the year. Number 8. Kachchak Prison. Kachchak Prison, or more accurately the Kachchak Detention Centre, gained international notoriety for its egregious human rights abuses, particularly in the aftermath of Iran's disputed 2009 presidential election. Plans for the Kachchak Detention Centre were first made in 2001. It was not a conventional prison but rather a temporary detention centre, distinct from official prisons like Evin. Under Tehran Police Chief Ahmad Reza Radan, Kachchak became a key site for implementing the public security plan. This plan targeted individuals deemed to be thugs and louts, including drug addicts and those seen as endangering public morality. Reports indicate that Kachchak's cells were located underground, constructed without proper access to fresh air or adequate toilet facilities. It lacked the regulations and facilities, such as family visits, found in official prisons. The facility, reportedly with a capacity of only 50 prisoners, often housed significantly more with detainees, were denied fresh air and sunlight, allowed to use the toilet only once a day, and received a meagre ration of 1 glass of water per day. Food was scarce and poor quality, often consisting of half a potato and half a loaf of bread, or at most a boiled egg. Accounts included severe beatings, verbal abuse, humiliation, and other various forms of unspeakable suppression. Following widespread public outrage and intense criticism, including from within the political establishment, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei ordered the closure of Kachchak Detention Centre in late July 2009. Several managers of the prison were sentenced to death for inflicting intentional abuse, leading to the murder of many prisoners, and 9 others received jail sentences and lashes. Kachchak remains a grim symbol of state-sponsored human rights violations in Iran and highlights the severe lack of transparency and accountability within the Iranian judiciary and prison system. Number 7. Heshmei Prison. Heshmei Prison is a less widely known but equally significant facility within Iran's complex and often opaque penal system that is particularly recognized for its association with political prisoners. The prison is located in the northeast of Tehran, situated on a Revolutionary Guards base, and often operates with even less judicial oversight than those under the official prisons organization. Heshmei is specifically noted for its political prisoners wing that holds individuals arrested for politically motivated charges, dissenting activities, or those deemed a threat to national security. Like other covert detention centers in Iran, Heshmei has been implicated in holding prisoners without charge and subjecting them to solitary confinement. Heshmei gained significant international attention in 2011 when it was suggested that prominent Iranian opposition leaders Mir Hossein Mousavi, Mehdi Karoubi, and their wives Zahra Rahnavard and Fatemeh Karoubi were being detained there. These individuals had been under house arrest after calling for demonstrations in solidarity with the Arab Spring protests and expressing dissent against the Iranian government. Transferred to Heshmei from their residences after security forces abducted them, Iranian officials initially denied their transfer to any detention facility. They were reportedly denied access to lawyers from the time of arrest. Prisoners in Iranian military facilities, especially political ones, often face overcrowding, unsanitary conditions, poor ventilation, and denial of adequate food, safe drinking water, and essential medical care. Number 6. Central Prison of Tehran. More commonly known as Fashafoye Prison, the Greater Tehran Central Penitentiary, or Hassanabad-e-Qom Prison, Central Prison is a sprawling and relatively new correctional facility located approximately 32 kilometers south of Tehran. Opened in 2011/2012, it was designed to alleviate overcrowding in older, more notorious prisons like Evin, Gohar, Dasht, and Ghezel, Hessar by transferring a significant portion of their inmate populations. Fashafoye was primarily built to house suspects and inmates convicted of drug-related offences and other common crimes. However, it has increasingly been used to incarcerate political dissidents, anti-state protesters, and prisoners of conscience, particularly since the widespread protests in Iran. With an official capacity of 15,000 inmates, Fashafoye is considered the largest detention facility in Iran. This immense capacity reflects the country's high incarceration rates and the need to manage a large prison population. Despite its modern construction, Fashafoye has quickly gained a reputation for extremely harsh and inhumane conditions, drawing severe criticism from human rights organisations. Prisoners often face severely limited access to running water. Accounts describe toilet facilities as mere holes in the floor, without light or proper separation, leading to incredibly unsanitary conditions. Detainees report intolerably hot conditions with severely limited or no air ventilation, especially in quarantine units. Many prisoners are also forced to sleep on the ground due to a lack of proper bedding. Prison authorities are widely accused of deliberately delaying or refusing urgent specialised medical care, even for life-threatening conditions, and simple painkillers are often given for serious ailments, and essential medication is withheld. During the COVID-19 pandemic, there were alarming reports of catastrophic outbreaks within the prison, with authorities reportedly refusing to release prisoners or provide adequate measures. The use of torture and psychological pressure to extract forced confessions is a common practice, especially for political prisoners. Disturbingly, reports in 2019 indicated hundreds of juvenile prisoners under the age of 18 were housed at Fashafoye, many undocumented. Several murders have taken place at the prison, including Ali Reza Shir Muhammad Ali in June 2019, who was stabbed to death by 2 death row prisoners in Fashafoye. In 2018, more than 200 Sufi Muslims belonging to the Gonabadi order were transferred to Fashafoye after being arrested during street protests in Tehran. Their experiences further exposed the prison's harsh conditions. Reports indicate that Fashafoye holds prisoners awaiting hand amputations for petty crimes, a practice condemned as torture under international law, making it one of the most feared prisons despite its modern appearance. Number 5. Vakilabad Prison. Also known as Mashhad Central Prison, Vakilabad Prison is a notoriously grim correctional facility located in the city of Mashhad, the capital of Razavi Khorasan province in northeastern Iran. It has gained a particularly infamous reputation for its high number of secret and mass executions, primarily of individuals convicted of drug-related offences, and its severe conditions for all prisoners, including political detainees, housing a wide range of inmates from common criminals to political prisoners and those on death row. Vakilabad is consistently cited by human rights organisations as a site of grave human rights abuses. The prison is one of Iran's most active execution sites. Reports from human rights groups have documented hundreds and possibly thousands of executions carried out secretly at Vakilabad between 2010 and 2013. The vast majority of these executions have been for drug-related offences and are often carried out after highly unfair trials, characterised by a lack of access to legal counsel, forced confessions, and swift, arbitrary verdicts. A defining feature of executions at Vakilabad is their secrecy, with prisoners, their families, and even their lawyers are frequently not informed in advance of the execution. Prison phone lines are sometimes cut off on execution days to prevent information from leaking, and families often learn about the death of their loved ones days after the fact. Many executions at Vakilabad occur in groups, with multiple prisoners hanged simultaneously. There have been reports of dozens of individuals executed in a single day. A significant number of those executed for drug offences at Vakilabad have been Afghan citizens, highlighting concerns about the disproportionate impact of Iran's anti-drug laws on foreign nationals. Like many Iranian prisons, Vakilabad suffers from severe overcrowding, with inmate populations often far exceeding official capacity, and reports describe poor sanitation, inadequate access to clean water, insufficient food, and a general lack of hygiene. Prisoners with serious health conditions often do not receive timely or appropriate medical treatment, leading to deterioration of health and, in some cases, death. Accounts from former detainees and human rights organisations suggest that physical and psychological torture is common, particularly during interrogation and in special sections of the prison, with severe beatings, sleep deprivation, and prolonged solitary confinement regularly used. Political prisoners are frequently held alongside dangerous common criminals, including those convicted of violent offences, and many are simply cut off from the outside world. In September 2020, the United States Treasury Department sanctioned Vakilabad Prison, along with other Iranian officials and entities, torture or cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment, arbitrary detentions, and denials of the right to liberty. Number 4. Gazel Hessar Prison. Located in Karaj Alborz province, approximately 20 kilometers northwest of Tehran, Gazel Hessar Prison is one of Iran's largest and most infamous detention facilities. It has a long and troubling history marked by severe overcrowding, dire conditions, and a consistent pattern of human rights violations, particularly the execution of individuals charged with drug-related offences. Gazel Hessar has been operational for decades. While its precise initial capacity is difficult to ascertain, by 2011 it was reportedly holding around 20,000 prisoners, vastly exceeding its planned capacity. The sheer scale of its inmate population makes it one of the largest, if not the largest, state prisons in Iran, and has primarily housed individuals convicted of serious crimes, with a significant proportion being drug-related offenders. However, like many prisons in Iran, it has also been used to detain and process political prisoners and prisoners of conscience, especially during periods of intensified crackdowns. Inmates live in unsanitary conditions with inadequate access to clean water, functional toilets, and proper ventilation. This fosters the rapid spread of diseases. Prisoners are often forced to sleep on floors, in corridors, or in shifts due to the lack of sufficient bed space. There are numerous reports of prison authorities deliberately denying specialised medical care, even for life-threatening conditions, under the guise of budget constraints, and some sources even report inmates being coerced into signing waivers renouncing their right to medical treatment. Gazel Hesar is the primary site for executions in Iran, with human rights groups frequently report on group hangings carried out at the prison. In the first 5 months of 2025 alone, at least 244 people were reportedly hanged for drug-related offences across Iran, with a significant number likely occurring in Gazel Hesar. These executions often follow grossly unfair trials where individuals are denied fundamental rights, including access to a lawyer of their choosing, protection from torture, and the right not to incriminate themselves. Former prisoners from the 1980s recount recount systematic torture under the notorious former warden Davood Rahmani, including techniques like the coffin and prolonged standing. Prisoners in Gazel, Hessar, including political prisoners and those on death row, have frequently engaged in hunger strikes to protest the rampant executions and inhumane conditions. Gazel Hessar made headlines when a prison revolt, reportedly in protest against mass executions, led to a violent crackdown in 2011, with many prisoners killed. Number 3. Kachchak Prison. Officially known as the Heshmei Prison or Varamin Prison, this notorious women's prison is located in a desert region near Varamin, approximately 30 kilometers southeast of Tehran. Opened around 2010, it has quickly gained a reputation as one of Iran's most inhumane detention facilities, often described as hell for both women and children. Crucially, Kachchak Prison was not originally built as a correctional facility for humans. It was initially designed and used as a poultry farm, and this fundamental flaw in its architecture contributes significantly to the abysmal conditions. After its use as a poultry farm, it was briefly converted into a men's addiction rehabilitation centre before being repurposed as a women's prison. No significant structural changes were made to adapt it for human habitation, leading to a profound lack of suitable infrastructure. Kachchak exclusively houses female prisoners, including common criminals, political prisoners, human rights defenders, and civil activists. A particularly harrowing aspect of Kachchak is the detention of mothers with their young children. Many of whom are born in the prison or brought there with their mothers endure the same horrific conditions, often until they are separated from their mothers at the age of 2. These children are exposed to extreme hardships, unhygienic environments, and lack of basic care. On average, between 1,500 and 2,000 women are held in Kachchak at any given time. Drinking water is consistently reported as undrinkable, causing various gastrointestinal and kidney diseases, thanks to it lacking a proper sewage system, and prisoners often have to buy expensive bottled water from the prison shop. The prison is heavily infested with cockroaches, rats, salamanders, lizards, water bugs, and even venomous spiders, with a handful of dilapidated toilets and showers, having to serve over 100 inmates each. Cells often have no windows, and even the open air areas are restricted, leaving prisoners with minimal access to fresh air when iron gates are closed, and other prisoners, held in large industrial sheds, are kept with 600 other people. The prison infirmary is severely under-equipped. Serious illnesses are often ignored or treated with only basic painkillers. Specialized medical services like dentists or ophthalmologists are rare or non-existent. Outbreaks of infectious diseases like tuberculosis, colds, and flu are common and spread rapidly, with contagious diseases, including HIV and hepatitis B commonplace. Reports include severe beatings with batons and stun guns, particularly against political prisoners, and solitary confinement is used extensively for women on death row. Kachchak is often used as a punitive exile destination for female political prisoners and civil activists. They are deliberately sent there from other prisons like Evin as a form of punishment due to the particularly harsh conditions. In December 2021, the US Department of the Treasury also sanctioned the then director of Kachchak, Sogra Kodadadi, for her direct involvement in attacks on prisoners of conscience. Number 2. Gohar Dasht Prison. Widely known as Rajai Shah Prison, Gohar Dasht is a notorious maximum security prison located in Karaj, Alborz province, approximately 20 kilometers west of Tehran. It has a deeply unsettling history, particularly for its central role in the 1988 mass executions of political prisoners and its ongoing reputation for brutal conditions and systemic systemic human rights abuses. It is crucial to note that Gohar Dasht Prison was officially evacuated and closed in August 2023. However, this closure does not detract from one of the darkest chapters in modern Iranian history, the 1988 mass executions of political prisoners. In mid-1988, following a secret fatwa from then Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, thousands of political prisoners across Iran were subjected to summary trials by death commissions and subsequently executed. Gohar Dasht was a primary site for these executions, with estimates of the total number of victims nationwide ranging from 2,800 to 30,000, many of whom were executed without any legal process or for crimes that did not meet international standards for capital punishment. Many of the victims were members or sympathizers of opposition groups, particularly the People's Mujahideen of Iran, as well as various leftist and communist factions. The executions were carried out in secret, with victims often buried in unmarked mass graves, and the role of Iranian officials, including figures like Ibrahim Raisi in these death commissions, has been a subject of ongoing international investigation and calls for accountability. Before its closure, Gohar Dasht was consistently described as one of Iran's harshest prisons, with many prisoners facing particularly severe treatment at the hands of the ruling regime. Frequent physical assaults by prison guards and officials were commonplace, including extensive use of prolonged solitary confinement to force confessions. In some highly publicised cases, Gohar Dasht was the site where judicial corporal punishments, such as blinding or eye for an eye punishment, were carried out, drawing international condemnation. Severe overcrowding was a persistent issue, leading to unsanitary conditions, including inadequate access to clean water, proper ventilation, and functional sanitation facilities. The closure of Gohar Dasht in August 2023, while ostensibly a move to transfer prisons outside urban areas, has been met with skepticism by human rights advocates. Prisoners from Gohar Dasht have been transferred to other already overcrowded and notorious facilities like Gazel Hessar, potentially shifting the problem of dire conditions rather than resolving it. The demolition of the prison would serve to destroy crucial physical evidence related to the 1988 massacre and other atrocities carried out by the Ruhollah Khomeini regime. Number 1. Evin Prison. Arguably the country's most infamous and politically significant detention facility, Evin was established in 1972 under the Shah's regime, with notoriety significantly increasing after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Located in the Evin neighbourhood of Tehran, the prison has become synonymous with the incarceration of political prisoners, journalists, academics, human rights activists, dual nationals, and foreign citizens. It is the most secure prison in Iran, surrounded by high walls, multiple watchtowers, multiple fences, security patrols, and restricted access zones. CCTV camera coverage throughout the prison, including common areas, corridors, and even within some cells, is common, with dedicated control rooms used to observe inmate movements and activities. Evin Prison employs electronic jamming to prevent unauthorized mobile phone use by prisoners and monitors all permitted communications and reports, even suggest parts of the prison are surrounded by a minefield. Evin serves as the main facility for detaining individuals accused of national security crimes or propaganda against the system, which are often broad charges used to target peaceful dissent. The prison houses houses a diverse population, including high-profile political prisoners, civil rights activists, intellectuals, artists, and foreign nationals, alongside some common criminals. While formerly under the control of the National Prisons Office, various wards within Evin are effectively managed by different state bodies, including the Ministry of Intelligence and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Separated into sections, one of the most dreaded is Section 209. Controlled by the Ministry of Intelligence, it is known for its prolonged solitary confinement cells, intense interrogations, and the use of psychological and physical torture to extract forced confessions. Section 2A is controlled by the intelligence unit of the IRGC and also utilises solitary confinement and harsh interrogation tactics, with Section 350 being a general ward for political prisoners but severely overcrowded. The prison also has a women's ward housing female political prisoners and activists that faces severe challenges, including chronic lack of medical care, unsanitary conditions, and overcrowding. Accounts from former detainees detail beatings, electric shocks, mock executions, prolonged solitary confinement, sensory deprivation, threats against family members, and relentless interrogation. Many prisoners are held without charge for extended periods or on vague national security charges, and detainees are often denied access to lawyers, particularly during the critical interrogation phase. Trials in revolutionary courts are systematically unfair, lacking transparency, and often relying solely on forced confessions, while judges frequently disregard evidence presented by the defence. Reports detail infestations of bedbugs and other pests, inadequate and unhygienic toilet and shower facilities, and a general lack of cleanliness, with inmates often reportedly suffering from malnutrition due to the substandard quality and insufficient quantity of prison food. Evin is particularly known for holding dual nationals and foreign citizens, often accused of espionage or other national security offences. These individuals are frequently used as leverage in international negotiations, a practice widely condemned as hostage diplomacy. Notable incidents within Evin include the death of Iranian-Canadian photojournalist Zara Kazemi, who died of blunt trauma to the head while imprisoned in Evin. In 2021, a hacktivist group named Ali's Justice leaked CCTV footage from inside Evin, revealing shocking scenes of overcrowding, inhumane conditions, and prison guards assaulting prisoners. In October 2022, amidst nationwide protests following the death of Mahsa Amini, a major fire erupted at Evin Prison, and rioting claimed the lives of 8 prisoners, with authorities using live ammunition and tear gas to quell the riot. Evin Prison is by far the most feared in the country and remains a symbol of repression, where fundamental human rights are systematically denied and where political dissent is brutally suppressed. Thanks for watching. We have a special video coming later this week on specific inmates inside Iran's most feared prisons. Meanwhile, check out some of our other videos on the screen and subscribe for more true crime videos publishing every Saturday.